I need the scoop.
A dream wedding turns into a family spectacle when a brother arrives with a heavily pregnant stranger on his arm. This jaw-dropping Reddit confession pulls back the curtain on how one unexpected guest became the center of attention at what should have been the bride's perfect day. Get ready for a family drama filled with shocking revelations, difficult emotions, and an unexpected journey toward understanding that will make you question where the line between selfishness and support truly lies.
I got married last weekend. I'm still so pissed off at what my brother did. He took all of the attention off of me and my husband. Normally, I don't feel the need to be the center of attention, but this was my freaking wedding day. I feel like it's all anyone was talking about during the wedding, and now it's like the main thing any of them even remember from the entire thing. It was a destination wedding within the US, so nothing crazy. We kept the guest list to our families, immediate and extended, as well as closest friends. My parents paid for our immediate family to arrive about 5 days ahead of time. So, it was my parents, my sister, and I, initially, with my brother arriving a few days later. We knew my brother was bringing a date. No big deal. He said he was just bringing a girl from school. He didn't even call her his girlfriend officially. My parents showed up at the airport to pick my brother up, and there he was, hand in hand with an obviously pregnant girl that none of us have ever met. My parents were obviously taken aback. My brother greeted them like everything was normal, according to my mom, and my parents didn't really know what to do or say. Then he just said, "Surprise!" My poor mom almost fainted, and my dad yelled out, "What the hell have you done?" He introduces us to this girl, but doesn't clarify if she's his girlfriend, and doesn't give us much info at all, really. It was very weird. It was obvious that she was uncomfortable. She said she wasn't feeling well and needed to go lay down after the flight. So, at dinner, it was just our family as she was resting. We were all awkwardly sitting around the table eating dinner, barely saying a word. My mom finally says, "Is that your baby?" By then, we all assumed it was, but my mom needed confirmation. The lack of any real explanation or details from him up until then was just odd. He admitted it's technically not his baby, but he's in love with her and intends on being a father to the baby anyway. The actual father isn't involved and doesn't want to be, and if they get married, then he can adopt the baby, so he'll legally be the father. She's living with him, and none of us knew this either. He's been her main support person throughout the entire thing. She's 28 weeks pregnant. Well, 29 now, since this was over a week ago. I think this was worse than what we had all assumed. So, in love with her, that he's going to take on the responsibility of her child and marry her. Yet, we've never even heard of her. He said he has mentioned her quite a few times. Well, maybe he's mentioned her name in passing. Not to me, maybe to my parents, but never said she was his girlfriend or pregnant. None of us understand. He's 21, about to graduate college, planning to enter law school next, and he's an attractive guy. Why would he do this? My parents, especially my mom, were stressing out about it all weekend long throughout my entire wedding weekend. It was like my wedding became an afterthought. All my parents could talk about was how to make my brother change his mind about this girl. Then, when the wedding photographer was taking family pictures, he wanted her in them. That was really the breaking point for me. She isn't family. None of us knew about their relationship, and we met her 2 days prior. She shouldn't be in our official family pictures from my wedding. It's like, forget the bride and groom. Look at this random, heavily pregnant woman hitching herself to my brother. No, I told him no. I refused to let her be in the photos. My mum made me allow her to be in one picture, but said we don't have to buy that one or put it on display anywhere. It just made my blood boil. Anyway, I don't think he should have brought her. There was no reason to bring her to my wedding, especially without warning. I mean, it's all my side of the family could talk about, and he was reticent to even correct them about it not being his baby. He said that's because it was awkward for her to have to explain the full scenario to everyone, so he just let people think what they wanted, because he wouldn't at least say something. Everyone was gossiping and wondering about it the whole time. He had months to tell us about what was going on. Months! He didn't have to wait and surprise us all on my wedding week. In her defense, she seemed very uncomfortable the entire time, and I don't think she wanted to be there. I think my brother may have forced this on her as well. I'm upset that several friends and even my own mom are telling me I'm overreacting, and just need to accept it. When I told a group of my co-workers about it after the fact, they agreed with me and thought what my brother did was absolutely insane and rude. I'm also concerned about him ruining his life. He's 21 years old. He shouldn't be doing this to his life. He didn't get her pregnant. This decision could affect the entire trajectory of his life. It's like he's cleaning up somebody else's mistake and he's going to suffer because of it. If he wasn't 21 and still in college, I might feel differently regarding his decision. He's graduating in a few months. He was planning to go to law school immediately following, but now he's hinting that he'll delay that since he'll obviously need to have a full-time job to support a baby. Oh, and she took a leave of absence from school due to her pregnancy, so he'll need to support her while she goes back. He hasn't outright said he's going to delay his plans, but he's dropped several hints. He can't even fully support himself now. My parents pay for where he lives, and for where his girlfriend is now apparently living. I asked them if they were going to stop paying, and they said, well, we can't make them homeless. My parents pay for much of his life, so if they continue to do that, they'll be paying for this girl and her baby too. It's not fair to do to our parents. I don't think he did it to be malicious. I don't think he thought about what he was doing to me. He also hasn't apologized though. If, after being told something you did was rude and hurtful, at least own up to it. He asked us not to tell anyone the truth about him not being the father. I respected that. Well, I told my friends, but I didn't tell anyone in our family. Even though I was annoyed, I still followed his wishes.
The Reddit community was deeply divided, with many supporting the bride's right to be the centre of attention on her wedding day. In the months following the wedding, tensions remained high as the family struggled to process this unexpected development. 4.5 months later, a surprising update would reveal how time and perspective can dramatically shift our understanding of family dynamics.
I think I might be about to do what very few people come here to do. I'm sharing an update and want to say that in hindsight, I think I was actually the one in the wrong in my situation. I was riding high on wedding hormones and center of the universe vibes at the time, but I've slowly come down to earth in the many weeks since I last posted. I let my worry about the gossip about my brother and his girlfriend get in the way of me enjoying my day, and there's no way to go back and change it. I also realized that I should have just agreed to do one photo with his girlfriend included. One photo wouldn't have been important, and it didn't have to be considered the official photo of me and my family that I put in my wedding album or hung on the wall. Instead, I chose to be a witch to somebody I was meeting for the first time who already felt very uncomfortable. For many weeks after I made my first post, I was sure I was not in the wrong. My ego has deflated, and I've had a talk with my brother about it. We both came to the conclusion that in our family, we didn't really learn how to have difficult conversations about things that we knew might make somebody else uncomfortable. This is why I couldn't calmly voice my feelings to my brother on my wedding day, and instead acted like a spoiled child. It's also why, instead of having a normal conversation with our parents to let them know that he was dating somebody who was pregnant by somebody else and that he was going to be raising this baby as his own, he panicked and decided to just announce it without actually having to voice it to them at all. My wedding just so happened to be the first occasion he had to do so. I don't think he mentioned it to hurt me. Several people have asked me about an update on my brother and his girlfriend. Well, she's his wife now. They got married. They're still together, living together. We've gotten to know her a little better, and she's not as bad as we all wanted to make her out to be. I think she genuinely loves my brother, and my brother loves her. She just so happened to be pregnant when they met, and they both acknowledge it's a bit unusual. My brother is the type who has a big heart and can't resist helping somebody who he determines is in need. We worried about whether he was genuinely with her because he was in love with her, or if he was with her because he felt bad about her situation and had convinced himself he was in love with her. But I think it's more than that. I went to her baby shower. She seems perfectly normal and nice, and really crazy about my brother. The baby was finally born at 41 weeks, and of course my brother was there. The baby is several weeks old now. Half the time I forget that the baby isn't actually my brother's baby, and isn't actually related to us by blood. After my wedding, my parents started to get more concerned about the whole situation with my brother. My mom became the most judgmental one. My brother talked to our dad and eventually got him to realize that my brother is an adult and he's going to do what he wants to do. Eventually, my dad was like, "You're right, and I'd rather just support you here." My mum couldn't get on board. She wouldn't let herself even give his girlfriend, now wife, a chance. She convinced herself that my brother was just being manipulated and taken advantage of by this evil woman. She told everyone that too. So, things were sort of tense because I felt somewhat in the middle at that point. But now, my mom has been the only person to babysit since the birth. It's like she saw the baby and forgot all about everything, and she's all buddy-buddy with his wife now. I'm shocked that this woman has decided to not completely cut my mom out of the baby's life altogether, but perhaps she's a bigger person than all of us. He admitted he lied about them being friends for 2 years. He didn't plan to lie about it, but when he saw our reactions, it just sort of came out in an attempt to make him seem slightly less crazy. They met when she was already pregnant. She had just found out, basically, and apparently was upfront with him about it. In a way, I find that slightly better than her having known him for 2 years and suddenly being romantically interested in him once she found herself single and pregnant. It was almost a relief to find out it was a lie. He wasn't completely honest with her about our family situation either. She thought we knew more than we actually did. She didn't find out the truth until they were already on their way to the wedding, and he convinced her everything would be fine. She didn't want to come. I can agree that his decision is very unusual. It's not something I'd advise anyone to do. But he's an adult, and we can't make his decisions for him. We grew up having all our decisions made for us, and I have a lot of resentment for it. So, if this blows up, then at least it was his own decision. He didn't drop out of school. He graduates this month. He's putting off law school. He was supposed to go straight into law school, but he's postponing that so he can support her while she finishes school. I think we're all concerned he won't ever go to law school now, and he'd really been set on it before. Maybe he secretly doesn't want to go, but again, doesn't know how to tell my parents. I also think we're all still worried about how much more difficult he's made his life as a young adult just graduating school. He can't just be concerned with finding a job and doing all of the other things a new college grad does. I definitely hate the thought of seeing him struggle, but he says this is what he wants to do. There's no guarantee this relationship will last. We're not taking bets on when it'll end, but realistically they've been together less than a year and now there's a baby in the mix. Time will tell how well they can handle it all together.
Sometimes the most challenging family moments lead to unexpected growth and connection. If this story of wedding drama and family reconciliation resonated with you, share your thoughts on navigating difficult family situations in the comments below. Subscribe to catch more stories about relationships that evolve in surprising ways, and check out our other videos exploring the complex dynamics of blended families and unconventional love stories.